Okay, so we're going to do a quick recap video on tariffs. So we're going to start out with the first situation where you just have local supply. So this supply could really be anything. It could be the sale of fruit from a local fruit supplier. So we've got your local supply here, and then we've got your demand curve going down here. So at local supply, you're going to find that your equilibrium works out just like how we're used to seeing right there. And we're going to call this price point $5. At the top, we're going to have $10. That's $0. So we're going to say it's right in the middle at $5. And same thing here, your quantity, we're going to say the quantity is also 5 consumers. So that's your equilibrium point. To find your consumer surplus, what you're going to do is you're going to take your area of this triangle right here, and these are the amount of consumers that are buying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way across, and then up this triangle here to the top, down. So that shaded area, that's your consumer surplus. So to find that, we use the formula base times height divided by 2. That's how you calculate a triangle. So base 5 times height 5 is 25 divided by 2 gives you 12.5. So your consumer surplus is going to be 12.5, which is going to be tough to see on this. I'll try to scooch it forward. The same thing is going to happen with your supplier, your producer surplus. So your producer here, if you're looking at the bottom, it's going to be that same 5 producers. We're going to do it in a different color though. And it's going to be that whole area right there. It's the same formula. You're looking for that. Those triangles are actually the same triangle in this case. So you're looking at 5 times 5 is 25, and then divided by 2 gives you a producer surplus of 12.5. So just going to add dollars there. So that's how it works in the case of local supply. Now I'm just going to get rid of these lines right here. Now let's assume that we have a foreign supplier coming in. So you've got your local fruit supply up here, but a foreign supplier is willing to sell the same fruit at $3 all the way across. So let's get this red again. That's $3 they're willing to sell it for no matter what. So our consumers, thinking logically here, are going to initially buy the fruit that's the cheapest, come up here, and as soon as they can buy it for $3, they're now going to buy as much as they can until they hit that quantity. So that quantity here, I guess we could call that 7. I don't know if this isn't drawn to scale well, so let's say that is 7. Let's say that quantity 10 is out there a little further. But anyways, so you have 7 right there, and you're coming across to $3 right here. So as you can see now, our whole consumer and producer surplus is drastically different. This triangle comes all the way here to the 7th consumer who will buy all the way across. So that shows the 7, and then all the way up shows now a distance also of 7. So we're looking at base times height and then divided by 2. So 7 times 7 is 14. No, wait, no, it's not. 1 second, I can't do 7 times 7 in my head. I mean, maybe I could, but I'll probably get it wrong. So 7 times 7 is 49. 7 squared is 49 divided by 2 is 24.5. Could have chose easier numbers, but I didn't. So this shaded area, base times height divided by 2, is 24.5. That's your consumer surplus. I'll shade it in really roughly here. That whole area is your consumer surplus. So now where's your producer surplus? That is going to be right here. Right up to where that triangle meets. Now, as you can see, our producer surplus, while our consumer surplus grew that much, our producer surplus just totally shrunk here. So we're gonna just go here. You follow this down to the bottom, which this is gonna be 3 here. This 5's right in the middle. So now we have 3, and we're gonna multiply that by 3. So 3 times 3 equals 9 times, so it's 3 times 2 is equal to 9 times 3 is 21. I'm an idiot, it's just 9. Just ignore that, Connor. So 3 times 3 equals 9 divided by 2 is equal to 4.5. So in the first scenario, we can see that our total surplus is 12.5 plus 12.5. That equals $25 total surplus. In this scenario, we have 24.5 plus 4.5. So that's going to equal 29. So our total surplus in this case is 29. In this case, it's 25. So the total surplus here with the foreign suppliers is actually better. However, we're going to do a third scenario here. Just gonna get rid of all these lines in the middle so it's clean again. Okay. So we have our demand curve. We have our local suppliers, and we have our foreign suppliers coming across here. Now, what happens when the government imposes a tariff? So when there's a tariff, the government could raise the price to $4 on all imported products. So now these suppliers have to now pay $4, or the price is now $4 because they're getting charged an extra dollar to export their stuff to our local economy here. So as you can see, that now changes the way that consumers buy. They're now going to buy all the way up to the 4th product. If you see there, that will line up with 4. And then they're going to come across the top until they hit this equilibrium point. Again, just the same as last time, except now it's just up and back. So instead of being right along 7, so 7 would be up here, they're now going to be coming down to 6. So 6 consumers will be buying the product or the fruit or whatever it is. So to find the area again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to come down there, go all the way across, and all the way back up. You can now see that this base is 6, and this height is going from $4 here to $10 here. So you have a base of 6, a height of 6. 6 times 6 is 36. I know that one. 36 divided by 2 is going to give us 15, 16, 17, 18. So in this case, our consumer surplus is 18. Our producer surplus is going to be this area right here, up to that red line, all the way across. That area is going to be 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16, divided by 2 is equal to 8. Now, that's our producer surplus, that's our consumer surplus. 8 plus 18. Let me just make sure I get that math right. So that's 4 times 4, 16 divided by 2 is 8. 6 times 6 is 36 divided by 2 is 18. And 18 plus 8 is 26. So our total surplus is now 26. So you can see our initial surplus was 25. Then without tariffs it was 29. With tariffs it drops down to 26. The reason for that being that this middle section here that is lost to the government. We're now paying that portion of our product to the government in a tax. This part here is lost because that 7th producer or that 7th consumer right there no longer wants to purchase. They drop out. And this is the producer's inefficiency because we're allowing the local supplier to supply even though they can't supply as efficiently as the foreign. So then we lose a little bit there. I think that that's pretty much everything. Local supply with tariff. So those are what we call deadweight losses. We lose that, we're at 26 now instead of 29, and that's our deadweight loss. So obviously it's most efficient here, but it just depends on what we're looking at as fair, because obviously local suppliers are going to want advantages in certain situations, just like we talk about. But I think I pretty much covered everything, so I'm going to end it here.